Alright. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Late Night Tips. In tonight's episode we're going to take a look at the Doepfer Dark Energy 2 and how it integrates with the MS-20 to create a relatively low cost and small in footprint semi-modular system. Let's get right into it. I've been really attracted to the concept of modular synthesis because there's a tactile element to it. You actually need to really patch those cables and think of possible connections. And even with some experience in that field, the end result sometimes will surprise you. So it's really unpredictable and can create really lively and sort of self-evolving patches, which is a lot of fun. And when it comes to MS-20, I was lacking a couple of functionalities. I wanted to have an additional LFO, maybe a syncable LFO, an additional oscillator, maybe an additional ADSR, and so on, to really sort of bring the MS-20 to life, especially when it comes to the LFO, because there's only one. And so, for example, if you want to have a slow filter sweep, then it's difficult for you to get the vibrato using the MS-20 alone. So obviously there are a couple of options for you to pursue to get that functionality. And one of them would be a small modular system. Another one could be a Moog Mother 32, which is a pretty powerful synthesizer. Analog 4 also has those capabilities, and the Doepfer Dark Energy. And I actually find the Doepfer to be very pretty, a very nice design, and it's also, in my space, very important that the footprint is relatively slow. So I haven't bought it yet. I borrowed it from a friend to sort of test it out. I like it, so probably I will look for one for myself as well. So let's look at the synthesizer first. My first reaction was that the envelopes are a little weird. So you send some signal to it and it just keeps on going. So turns out it needs to be patched. So you need to patch an envelope to VCA. Take it all the way down, and now my system is not very responsive to keyboard because it doesn't do legato at all. So it's not very musical. I haven't tried with a different keyboard. Maybe it's because it's going through the Octatrack, but something to basically be careful of. Now the LFO is patched and it sounds like a normal synthesizer. The filter is really nice, especially with the resonance. Very buttery. I heard that the version 1 was even better when it comes to filter. It was warmer, it was 24 dB. I guess this is 12 dB. Still a pretty nice filter. When it comes to the oscillator alone, it's not bad. It's not the best of the oscillators, but yeah, I like the sound, it's pretty good. Then I noticed that there's no LFO, sync. So the LFO works, but there's no way to sync it via MIDI. Actually, there is, but it's a workaround. So natively, they are not synced. What's really cool about the LFOs is that they're extremely fast. So if I take the LFO 1 and feed it into the filter in here, so you can already see it's there in the audio range clearly. Yeah, Once I started patching, I felt like there's not enough outputs really. You know, would be good to have both LFOs and maybe a couple more output options. And I was disappointed at first, but once you get into sort of the integration of the two synthesizers, it turns out you have more than enough options to go about. So let's look at a couple of patches. All right, so the first patch you've already seen. It's LFO to filter in audio rate to create another oscillator. It's pretty cool. The second patch that you can do is use the envelope. I'm gonna use the envelope output to modulate your frequency. So now that you have this option, I can actually automate by sending envelope or gate to it. That's pretty cool. I like that. So another option is for you to send synced audio from the Volca keys. I'm sending sync out, and I'm running this through the processor to sort of amplify that, and I can send it to pulse width. Yeah. Like that. So now it's going to affect the pulse width modulation in sync with everything else. And the final cool thing is that you can actually use the LFO on the Octatrack to sync different things. Because it listens to pitch bend and converts that into CV. So for example, if I go to CV output 3, it listens to pitch bend, and if I plug it into the filter, now I have it clearly in here. So I'm actually turning a knob on the Octatrack and it affects the filter, and what this means is that I can plug it to an LFO. Either in here or actually on the MS-20. Yeah. Yeah. So it gives you a lot of cool options, really, of syncing. Yup. So, is it a perfect combination? Probably not. You can probably, with a modular setup, you can get much more. Is it a lot of fun? Yes, it definitely is. And when it comes to its small footprint, I think that's going to be my solution when it comes to all semi-modular needs. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about the dark energy, leave them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And make sure to subscribe to this channel for more tutorials and more jams. Thank you for watching and take care.